கிளாசிக் போலோ மென்ஸ்வேர் பிராண்ட் இப்போ சென்னை வரப்போறாங்க. ரீட்டைல் பிரான்ச்சைசி பிசினஸ்ல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண இன்ட்ரெஸ்டடா இருக்கிறவங்க கால் பண்ணுங்க 9363393633.
I stand here today to oppose the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment Bill 2026 as a representative of the Congress Party, the party committed to justice, dignity and constitutional morality. Honorable Parliamentary Affairs Minister and Minister for Social Justice has said the bill is very important. But when they are saying the bill is important, how come this bill is coming to the parliament without due consultation from the transgender persons and other stakeholders? This itself shows the careless attitude of the government, how the bill is unimportant to them as the people the bill represent. The government is not willing to listen to the transgender people. At the Congress, but the Congress party, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi ji, Priyanka Gandhi ji, and we listen to the transgender people concerned, and we deeply concerned about the issues they are raising. We would like to stand by them on record. We fully support their sentiment, support their emotions. We deeply understand what they are going through, how their life will be changing after this bill. Let us be very clear. This bill is not a reform. This bill is a regression. It takes away what the Constitution and the Supreme Court of India have already guaranteed. This is not just a legal issue. This is about real people, real lives, and the quite daily struggle of citizens who are only asking to be seen, to be recognized, and to live with dignity. Honorable Madam Chairman, in the landmark judgment of the Supreme Court, famously known as NALSA, it was recognized that gender identity is a matter of self-determination, deeply personal, deeply human. It's affirmed that dignity, bodily autonomy, and identity are protected under Articles 14, 15, 19, and 21. But what does this bill do? It deletes the right of self-determination. It tells citizens who you say you are until the state approves you. Honorable Madam Chairman, identity is not a certificate. Dignity is not subject to verification. For most of us in this house, identity have been never comes under question. We have never had to stand before an authority or a medical board or a district collector or a magistrate to prove who we are. But for a transgender person, even existence become a process of scrutiny. This bill deepens that injustice. This bill introduces medical board and multi-layer process for a person to be legally recognized as themselves. Nobody can be recognized as transgender person without a physical examination of the medical board and then a certificate from the district collector or magistrate. In doing so, it fundamentally alters the relationship between the citizen and the state from one of rights to one of permission. I must ask the government, why are we making an already difficult process even harder? Many transgender persons have already spoken about the immense barriers they face in securing the simple ID card. By adding more bureaucratic hurdles, we are not protecting them. We are exhausting them into invisibility. The 2011 census recorded 4.88 lakh transgender persons in India, a number widely acknowledged to be a serious undercount. Independent estimates suggest the real population runs into several millions. Behind this number are lives marked by rejection, by families that turn away, by classrooms that exclude, and by workplaces that shut doors. For many, the struggle is not for privilege, but for survival. Yes, this bill narrows the definition of transgender persons, excluding trans men, several gender diverse identities that do not fit into rigid categories. Why this selective recognition? Why this erasure? A constitutional democracy cannot decide which identities are legitimate and which are not. Equality before law cannot be conditional. Honorable Madam Chairperson, if the government claims this bill is for the welfare of the community, the record tells a different story. The average annual allocation of transgender welfare has been minimal relative to the scale of need. And a significant portion of those funds has remained unspent. When the state fails to deliver even basic welfare, by what logic does it seek greater control over identity? This is not governance. This is exclusion by design. Madam Chairperson, state like mine, Tamil Nadu, was the first one who set up a transgender board. I would like to give the due credit to the then Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Kalaignar. But it was not easy for the Tamil Nadu government. There is a lot of social stigma. The people are alienated. To sensitize the bureaucracy, to sensitize the people, so many process has been gone through. Years has been spent. But now we are in a better position to support our transgender persons. But this regressive will take away the rights of the states, which has spent decades to sensitize their own people and their bureaucracy. This bill goes further. It introduces provisions that criminalize so-called forcing someone to present as transgender. These provisions are vague and dangerous and open to misuse. I will explain. I agree that no one should force anyone to present as transgender. But you just see, it will be misused. We give a lot of authority to police, lot of authority to many authorities. It will be risk of misused. The risk targeting families, community networks, and civil society organizations, the very spaces that often provide the only support a transgender person has. Tomorrow, you and me, irrespective of the place we are sitting, whether from the treasury bench or the opposition, we chose to support some transgender person based on their wish to support their cause. You and me can be criminalized. Is this a law we want to brought into this parliament? We need to think. Further, the bill mandates reporting of individual undergoing gender affirmation procedure to the state. In the Puttaswamy judgment, the Supreme Court affirmed that privacy, bodily integrity, and decisional autonomy are fundamental rights. This bill violates those principles. Honorable Madam Chairperson, imagine a young person already facing a stigma, now forced to fear that their most personal choices will be reported, recorded, and judged. This is not protection. This is an intrusion. What kind of democracy are we building if citizens might fear the state for simply existing in their own skin? Thousands of transgender persons have already obtained legal identity under the existing law. They have built lives, found jobs, sense of dignity that was long denied. The bill threatens to pull the ground beneath their feet. It tells them that the identity they fought for, the life they built, can be taken away by a change in procedure. Equality concerning is the complete absence of meaningful consultation. Laws affecting a marginalized community cannot be framed without their voices. If we do not listen to them now, when will we? This is not a democracy. This is a monologue of power, the identity and the trademark of Narendra Modi government. At a time when related constitutional questions are under judicial consideration, pushing such amendments without deliberation raises serious institutional concerns. Honorable Madam Chairperson, this is not just about a law. This is about whether we stand with dignity or put it on trial. You cannot ask a citizen to prove their identity in order to deserve dignity. Dignity is guaranteed by the Constitution, not granted by the state. History will judge us not by the law we pass, but by the lives we protect. Let us not be remembered as a parliament that rolled back rights. Let us be remembered as one that stood for equality, dignity, and justice for all. At the very least, the bill must be referred to the standing committee for detailed and inclusive consultation with the transgender community and all stakeholders. So I urge the government to withdraw the bill and send it to standing committee. Thank you.